record button. We're live. All right, great. We're not actually live. Good morning, everyone. I'm glad you guys could make it to the 2019 VEX Coaches Conference. I'm really excited how many people decided to come. We had a room full of, I think that this room fits 201 people, and we had 187 people sign up for this. I would say last night all the way up until midnight, I think we had probably 15 emails of cancellation. But it will be a packed house today. So make room for people, make a new friend, cozy up next to someone. Hopefully you guys all showered. Okay. But I'm gonna just kind of quickly do an introduction about what we're going to talk about today, why we're here today. I'm going to introduce, we have guest speakers throughout the entire day, so it will not be me talking for a full 6 hours. But I do want to just say, I'm excited that there is such a demand of hungry teachers that want to give up a Friday and the last 2 days of their Saturday to come to a training today to learn more about robotics. Like, I want to applaud all of you for saying, I want to know more. I'm hungry to learn more from my kids. This wasn't required. None of your I don't think we even sent this to your principal, so it wasn't like your principal saying, you got to go to this. You guys willingly woke up early this morning. How many of you had a 3-hour drive this morning? 3.5-hour drive. All right, 3 hours beat us. Where are you guys coming from? Evansville? North. Ligonier. I get just slow drivers, or it takes 3 hours?
3 hours.
Okay, gotcha. Well, welcome to Indianapolis. So the lineup for today, not in any particular order, but just really quick, I'll introduce myself and then introduce all of the coaches. My name is George Giltner. I've had the pleasure to talk with most all of you in the initial robotics training if you applied for one of our grants. How many of you was a student in my class in one of my robotics training? Okay, so I've had the pleasure to at least talk to you, and I haven't had the pleasure to necessarily talk with all of you. But at some point today, if you guys, during a break, if you want to talk to me or ask me questions, please do. You probably met Bree and Andy out there. Those are the other 50% of our foundation. There's just 6 of us in our foundation, and we'll talk about grants that we hand out, but we want to provide as many resources and opportunities to make sure that you guys feel like you're prepared for coaching and that you feel like you're prepared for the upcoming school year. But on the agenda, I don't know if we made it public, but I'll show you a slide here of the agenda. We have about 1 or 2 coaches that are from all over the state that have been spending time in the last couple weeks, maybe even just last night, making their PowerPoint presentation, looking at Steve. But these are coaches that have been coaching for several years. Some of them have only been coaching for maybe 2 or 3 years, and they were new just like you. But they all want to share what they do with their students, with their team. And again, I hope that you learn that we want to try to create a culture where we're all sharing our resources with one another. I've been coaching a lot of new teachers this past week, and I say it's not like sports when you don't want to share your playbook. I know it seems weird. Sometimes we become a little possessive of what we do and our strategies in the classroom. But the whole goal of everything that we do is try to help kids. And so if you know a little secret or a trick or something that helps your kids, I don't think there's any reason why you shouldn't share that with other coaches so that they can be successful as well. So anyway, I'll stop talking about that. I want to introduce, Dallas over here. Dallas will be teaching, I think, building robots and programming. David, I just saw walk in. Right. David, over here from Cold Spring, here locally in Indianapolis. Here, nice close drive. Jake Simons, over here from Napanee. Paul Myers, up in the corner, brought his son Dean. We'll be going over advanced programming from Heritage Christian. Randy Decker, most of you guys know Randy. He'll be coming here this afternoon. And then Samantha, who lost her voice, but she'll be speaking today in the morning. Then I think she has to run to a summer robotics camp, so just round founded by robotics. And then Steve Hassenplug from Lafayette came down here to help out. So this is what I call the all-star crew. I think you guys are all all-stars, but this crew has been spending, like I said, a lot of time trying to put this together. I'm not paying them. They're doing this for free. They're doing this to try to better advance robotics in Indiana. So the agenda is broken down in kind of 3 sections. There's the preseason where we'll cover 2 topics. In the morning, we'll break out for a quick little 15-minute session to take a break. I would say you guys are all adults, so if there's any time you need to get up and go potty, you can do that on your own terms. You don't need to raise your hand and ask to go to the bathroom. You can just do that politely, respectfully. And then, oh, Andy, it is good to go.
It's good to go?
Yeah, thanks for checking. It's actually Dallas's camera.
Oh, perfect.
He saw what we had. He's like, I've got something better.
Good, because I don't have to switch the battery out.
Yeah. And then after the break, we'll transition into the build season. We'll reveal the game. If you haven't seen the game, we'll break it down. And then talk about building the robots. And then we'll have an hour for lunch. And so for lunch, there is a cafeteria open that you guys are welcome to go to, or if you wanted to drive somewhere, you guys can do that. And then we're going to have a breakout session where you can decide if you want to go into more of a beginning programming session or advanced programming session. The good news is we'll be recording both of them. So if you wanted to go to beginning and you're not sure if you're ready for advanced, you can at least go to the beginning and watch the video of the advanced, or vice versa. If you go to advanced and you're like, this is over my head, you can watch the beginning. And then end the day in competition season. We have added kind of a new thing this year is what is the event partner session. So how many of you host an event in the state? Awesome. Thank you very much for doing that. We all know that takes a lot of time, effort, and energy, but there's definitely a lot of rewards to that. So we thought that this was a really great, eager audience because some of you woke up this morning and drove 3 hours to be here. You love robotics, and this would be a good audience to learn, to teach you all about what it is to be an event partner, because I think we all can agree that it would be great to have more competitions around the state, so either you can go to more competitions or you don't have to travel too far for a competition. So we'll talk to you, well, Steve and Randy will talk to you guys about what an event partner is and how you can become an event partner and host an event. If you brought laptops, great. You can follow along with some of the stuff we have. If not, you can always look back at this link. We have posted everything that we're sharing today in a Google Drive and Google folder. You can find that on our website at techpointyouth.org/robot resources. And so I'm just going to go to that right now and just show you the 2 things. This is TechPoint Foundation for Youth Robot Resources. Under Robotics, Robot Resources, I click on Coaching. And there will be a YouTube video playlist once Dallas is done editing the video, deleting all the cuss words, making it G-rated, whatever. And then right below this is a Google Drive that has all the files that we will be sharing with throughout the day. So, for example, Jake and Samantha will be coming up talking about building your team. All the files they have are in this Google Drive folder. So you guys are welcome to those files. You can download them, use them in your classroom or with your students if you want to share that with them. And then something that was created during the planning stages of this, if you brought a laptop, this would be great. If not, you could use your phone if you can access Google Drive folders. What we thought is we have a very packed schedule today to try to get you guys out on a Friday afternoon by 5:15 so you can go to happy hour down by Waterpool and get some beers. We'll have to edit that part out. Just say beers on a recording. So you're welcome to ask questions. We want you guys to ask questions, but we do have a strict schedule that we're going to have to end our sessions on time. So what we did is we created a question document or working document that you can go on there, and if there's any questions that was not asked or answered during the day today, throw them on there, and then I will go through them this weekend or next week, and so will the committee, to go in and just make comments to answer those questions. But I also put on there, this is a live document, so if you see someone asking a question, you can go on there and ask as well. So that's kind of a working document if you feel like A, you're too embarrassed to ask a question because you think it's a silly question, or B, we just didn't have time. There is a doc in here at the bottom called question submission. All right, I'm almost done. I'll let you guys go. And then I would say, how many of you guys are part of the Facebook Coaches Corner? All right. Oh, great. So this is something that Bree created, and I'll just tell you why. We started out handing out 300 robotics grants our first year, but then 520 teams started. And then the next year we handed about 200, and then went up to 900 teams in India. So Bree along the way was getting too many questions. And she's like, I need to come up with a way where you guys are helping each other. So we created a Coaches Corner on Facebook. I should say, Bree created a Coaches Corner on Facebook, which is a private Facebook group for just elementary and middle school VEX IQ coaches. And there are some of you that are extremely active on there and helping to answer questions, and I really appreciate it. It goes back to that whole philosophy of sharing ideas, sharing resources. So if you guys want to continue to ask questions to this group or other people, join the Facebook group. It's I think a pretty friendly, inviting group. I don't think there's been any robot drama on there that I recall at all. So if it does, I'll get in there and start regulating. All right, really quick. This isn't a sales pitch. This is like me trying to give you guys money. So it's like the opposite of sales pitch, I guess, right? We have 4 different grants available that people can take advantage of. The first one really wouldn't relate to you, but I want to let you know that we've already handed out 130 robotics grants to elementary and middle schools already this summer. So there'll be already 130 more teams, and of those teams, we know that most teams start 2 or 3. So that means there's already going to be at least 200 to 300 more teams next year, if you can believe that. Last year we were at 1,500 active teams. So if you know of any elementary and middle school grants, or any elementary and middle schools in your community, in your area that do not have a robotics team, they can apply for our startup grant. And if you get a team to apply for our startup grant, we will pay for your registration of either your registration or your second team registration, and we're also now, just to add an extra incentive, we're buying the game element set for you as well. So if you get the initial cost, it's like a $250 thank you to you, and then we would really appreciate it if you can get more robotics teams to sign up. So I think we have about 15 more grants to hand out. I'd love for you to help push us. The Girl Power Grant is currently live. A reminder, if you've never heard of the Girl Power Grant, is if you want to add a second robotics team that doesn't currently exist, or an additional robotics team that doesn't exist, and it's composed of 50% or more girls on that team, REC will buy you a super kit, competition kit, and then we'll go in and pay for the registration cost. And I'll tell you, if you weren't at state last year, you can be very proud to know that Indiana now, last year, Indiana had 1,500 teams in the state, more teams than any other state in the entire country, and the makeup of our boys and girls on that is 66% of our students were girls last year. So thank you for encouraging girls to join the robotics team, and then there's a little incentive to kind of help push that. And then the last thing is, if anyone becomes a new event partner, we will buy you a field and the element set, an additional one. So it's a grant, you have to apply for it, but you have a good chance of getting it. All right, and I'm sorry, I'm already breaking my rule. It's 8:30 right now, and I need to give it to you guys, and I'm really sorry. But I think there's an important message I need to send here before we get started. Is today, the purpose of today is to learn from coaches. So during the breakout sessions, I'm going to have some Q&A or little questions to have you guys start talking amongst the people next to you. I know that's weird, right? Like talking to strangers. But we want you guys to start creating a new culture of knowing people. And same with at lunch. We're going to have some questions to have you guys talk at lunch to some people. I want you guys to realize and maybe walk away that maybe I should start inviting teams around my community or my area to come to my practices. Maybe we should have scrimmages. Maybe we should have open practices to schools that don't have robotics teams to see what it's all about. There's no shame in, again, sharing your ideas with other teams. Don't be a New England Patriots, Bill Belichick, and be grumpy about how we're not going and videotaping other teams and stealing their ideas. You're learning and you're being inspired by other teams, and that's okay. And then today, it's all about providing resources, but this is the last thing I want to really make a point. So, and then I'm going to hand over the floor. I hear from so many teachers that are first year teachers that are going to competitions and they're tired and getting their butt kicked by the really good teams. And I hear coaches telling me all the time, hey, I went to a competition and our team, we had the flex spot and it could barely pick up any points. And during that discussion before a match, we were told, just get out of our way. You know what I mean? Like they say, just stay out of my way during the competition. So I'm talking to you on this audience right now because I know all of you were in that position at one point. Now there are a few of you that went from first year team to like going to state worlds your first year and you just had instant success. That's great. But what I'm trying to send this message is we need to make sure that we remember we were all great. We were not all great at one time. We were all first year teams just trying to figure out how this all works. And if we want to make sure that our robotics students have a good opportunity and a good experience in Indiana, we want to be known as the state that really prides ourselves in professional, gracious professionalism. We need to make sure that we're always kind to every team, no matter who they are. And now I've also heard on the other side of this, because there's a lot more Indiana teams becoming very good, I'm now starting to hear the good teams that continue to win are getting harassed by the teams that are not winning. And I never saw it on that side, so I want you to think about that a little bit, because there are teams that we know that go to competitions and they'll get first place, and they go to another competition and they get first place, and then you rag on them. I'm just saying. some teams will rag on them and say, that's not fair that they continue to win all the time. And I'm like, why is it not fair? Because they're working very hard, and there's no reason to be disrespectful to those students. And I think sometimes as adults, we forget that these are elementary students, and we need to be respectful to them. We need to kind of keep some of our negative thoughts in our head and not say them out loud. So I'm really telling first year coaches to really talk to parents, because parents are usually the guilty culprits. They're the bad ones sometimes. But it's going to be a good idea this season to talk to your parents about sending the right message that there will be teams there that are not good, and we need to bring them up. And there's going to be teams that are really good, and we need to learn from them. Not the negativity of this team sucks and they ruined our score and ranking, or this team's really good and they took all the trophies home and we didn't get any. We need to get rid of that attitude. Like, I'm tired of it on both sides. I don't mean to sit here and lecture you early morning. I just think I'm talking to a great group of coaches that can help send that message to every other event that we go to. So, I think I'm 4 minutes over. I'm really sorry, guys. I'm gonna literally be cracking the whip on everyone to stay on schedule. And here I set the tone in a very bad way. So I wanted to make sure I get that message out. So I'm gonna hand it over to Jake and Samantha, and they're going to be presenting building your team. So. And then all right, good morning.
Good morning.
This is the I know George had talked about it a little bit, but the way we structured this agenda was to kind of, the timeline of this agenda should follow the timeline. So we're starting preseason, we're going to jump into the build season, and then go into the competition season later on today. This is the preseason. Right now, we're in the preseason. I think the first thing that you all as coaches, that we all as coaches should do is evaluate where our program is at currently. So when I say club versus team, I guess this is a time for you to start here. What is the difference to you between a club and a team? Yeah.
A club normally has more kids.
Yep.
And a club's more of like a learning time of like they're learning how to build robots, learning how to program, learning how to work together, problem solve. Compared to a team would be smaller, a lot smaller. And the team would then have very specific goals in mind of what they're doing.
Yeah.
I think a club sounds very exclusive. You know, like you want to be a part of this club, you have to do certain things. And a team is more like, I think teamwork. We're all going to work together for a goal.
Sure. Anything else? Those are both really good. I think both are fine, obviously, but I think our ultimate goal is to maybe lean towards the team aspect, maybe more organization, some sub teams,
don't remember if it was you that said it or you, but just the expectations and the goals that you guys had. And so I think the biggest issue that I hear about at competitions when coaches talk to me is, they ask like, how is your team so how do the kids know exactly what to do at a competition and throughout the season? And the first question I always ask them is, how many kids do you have? And they say, about 50. I say, how many teams is that? They're like, 10. I say, how many coaches or how much help do you have? And they're like, well, it's just me and a couple dads. And that's the problem, right? The biggest problem is that there's not enough help. You have to evaluate your help, you have to evaluate your resources, and your time. And I think the biggest issue is help. And so for me personally, at Woodview Elementary up in Nappanee, Indiana, anyone heard of Nappanee, Indiana? Amish country, which makes this even more ironic, I guess. I don't have any Amish kids on my team. I wish I could. I think that'd be really cool for the judges to see, but not a lot. And I just evaluated that from the very beginning. I said, I don't have enough help. I know I don't have enough help in my school. So I'm not gonna take on 8 teams or 10 teams and get all these free robots and whatnot. I'm only gonna do 2 teams, based on the resources and the time and the help that I have. Because what ends up happening, and I've talked to way too many coaches, they just feel way too spread thin. They're overwhelmed. And when they're overwhelmed, the kids become overwhelmed. And so we're going to talk about in a little bit, a couple slides, the selection process that I use, pretty common selection process to whittle it down. And people say, so how do you say no to kids? Like, how do you turn kids away? And that is honestly the hardest thing for the entire season to do, is to say no to kids. And so there are some alternatives as well. Bottom bullet point here, if you don't have enough support, consider running a camp or a league for all interested students. George and I have talked about this a little bit. It's kind of like having a varsity squad and an intramural squad, so that every kid can still have a chance to participate and get their lips wet when it comes to robotics and engineering, but you're still taking teams to across the state to compete and that. So yeah, I think before we talk about the selection process, you're going to talk really quickly about the difference between reloading and rebuilding.
So I'm going to try and talk loud enough for you guys. I have done both. In the beginning, 5 years ago, we would rebuild every year. You lose your dynamic of your teams because you don't have those students invested. But when